Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Gateway Speaker Series. Tonight, we're in conversation with Micaela Erlanger and Libby Wadle on fashion and how clothing trends reflect the times. And I'll be moderating tonight. My name is Chassie Post, and I'm a TV style correspondent and lifestyle expert, and a very, very grateful mom of a Gateway alumnus, Rhody Costello, class of 2019, whose life was absolutely transformed at this very special school. And in fact, Rhody found his voice in more ways than one at Gateway. He walked in with the head down, not being able to look you in the eye, and just left in love with musical theater, singing at the top of his lungs in front of all who would listen. So I'll be forever grateful. Our family will be to Gateway. So it's just a real honor to be a part of the Gateway Speaker Series. And thank you, Jen Cherney and Nicole Mayon. And I am delighted to be moderating the discussion tonight. Last night's talk with Jason and Allison Flom was fantastic, and you guys are going to love tonight's conversation between two more incredibly inspiring members of the Gateway community, Libby Wadle and Micaela Erlanger. And both of these women are total powerhouses in the fashion industry and celebrated leaders in their field. So first, let me tell you a little bit about Libby. Libby Wadle is the Chief Executive Officer of J.Crew Group, overseeing J.Crew and Madewell brands, as well as serving on the board of directors. She has a proven track record of leading companies through periods of significant growth with focus on customer-centric retail and building purpose-driven brands. With over 25 years of experience in the retail industry during her tenure at the J.Crew Group, she's held executive leadership roles across each of the brands, J.Crew, Factory, and most recently serving as the Chief Executive Officer of Madewell. As a member of the Madewell launch team, Wadle has been an integral part of the brand's growth, bringing it from startup to a leader in denim retail. She's dedicated herself to an ambitious sustainability and social impact strategy for the group. She pioneered a partnership with Fair Trade USA Partnership, working with them to certify their first denim product. Her commitment to sustainability and building responsible brands has been a key focus for her. And this October, Madewell launched its first sustainability report, which detailed their work so far and plans for the future. Wadle is often looked to as a thought leader in the industry. She was named Fortune 40 Under 40, Rivet 50 for the denim leadership, and Fast Company's most creative people in business. She graduated from Boston College with a degree in literature and now lives in Brooklyn with her family, including Gateway student Sylvie Potter and her two dogs. Can't wait to hear from you, Libby. And now I'd like to introduce you guys to Micaela Erlanger. Micaela is a celebrity fashion stylist based in New York City. And her work has been seen on the biggest red carpets around the globe and in the pages of top fashion publications worldwide. She is also the niece of former head of school, Carolyn Salzman. As one of the most sought-after celebrity stylists in the industry, Micaela's unprecedented ascent to power stylist has been profiled by Vogue, Vanity Fair, Harper's Bazaar, and numerous other publications. Having been repeatedly named one of the most powerful stylists by The Hollywood Reporter, this is a position she has sustained since 2014. And her diverse high-profile clients include Meryl Streep, Lupita Nyong'o, Common, Diane Kruger, Sigourney Weaver, Lucy Hale, Amanda Hurst, Shailene Woodley, just to name a few, all of whom are perennially on the best dressed lists. Micaela is known for creating breakout fashion moments on a campaign trail and her ability to transform clients into style icons on the red carpet. Now, in 2019, Micaela launched her bridal styling business, focusing on styling and consulting to brides, bridal brands, and luxury hospitality groups. Since then, she has launched an engagement ring and wedding band collection with Forever Mark Diamonds, partnered with Brideside on a curated capsule of wedding gowns, and continues to represent the Platinum Guild as their global ambassador, as well as style her discerning luxury brides. In the fall of 2020, Micaela launched her line Stylist by Micaela as a collection of mix and match wardrobe essentials. She brings her expertise from years of styling her celebrity clients to design a size-inclusive line of versatile clothing for the modern woman. Stylist by Micaela is sold exclusively with QVC. And Micaela has been recognized by the industry with several notable awards. In 2019, Us Magazine named her one of the top 25 most stylish New Yorkers. In 2018, she was honored by the Accessories Council with their Style Influencer Award. And in 2016, Marie Claire Magazine awarded her with their inaugural Image Maker Award. Micaela is the author of How to Accessorize a Perfect Finish to Every Outfit, and has written for such publications as Vogue.com, Harper's Bazaar, T Magazine, and Time Magazine. So, guys, so incredibly accomplished. I cannot wait to hear and listen to you guys and our conversation tonight on fashion, how clothing trends reflect the times. So why don't we start with Libby? And Libby, can you tell us about how you became interested in fashion merchandising?
Well, I didn't really know what fashion merchandising was. I knew that there was a job called a buyer. And I knew even when I was, in middle school or high school that I liked to buy things a lot. And so I always, really loved clothes. And I think I quickly kind of figured out that, I was not a creative from a design standpoint. I think it goes back to the very early days working in retail. I'm a worker, always have been. So I had a part-time job to fund my shopping habit at the mall. And that's sort of how it all began. And I really just fell in love with it, honestly. And as you heard from my bio, I did not study fashion in college. I studied English, and I still would stand by that choice. And I think, I really have been able to supplement my what was my hobby, is my love, and then has become my career. Starting with part-time jobs, and then eventually, moving into the working world. But yeah, so it started at the mall, I guess, would be the short answer.
I love it. Thanks, Libby. Micaela, can you tell us a bit about how you started as a stylist and how you built out your business?
Definitely. Well, actually, my story isn't terribly dissimilar from Libby's. I guess it started in retail too, fueling my own shopping habit. I remember always loving fashion as a young girl, playing dress up with my kid sister, getting ready for the school dances with my girlfriends, always being drawn to that sort of creativity as it applied to fashion. But it wasn't until I was in college that I discovered the world of styling. I thought I wanted to be a fashion editor at a magazine. I had interned every single semester, summer and during the school year, trying out different things, and eventually landed an internship at one of the publications, one of the major fashion publications, actually. And it was then that I was sort of introduced to this world of fashion and creativity in the styling space. But the world of celebrity styling wasn't so much of a known career path at the time. Rachel Zoe was kind of on the scene, popularizing what it is that I have now set out to do. But it wasn't until I was in the trenches getting this hands-on experience that I discovered that this was even a career path. And it happened to fall into an introduction from a family friend where I landed another internship, this time with a celebrity stylist, and the rest is history. So long story short, it started in retail for me.
That's great. Thank you. And so this is a question really for both of you guys. Let's start with Libby, but Since our topic is how clothing trends reflect the times, can you discuss a little bit how you've pivoted your business due to COVID and how you've managed, this past year or so?
Well, Zoom has helped, I would say. But, I think clothing in general, we'll probably talk about this a little bit more, has become very casual. I'm very fortunate that I work with two brands who definitely lean on the casual side of things. And so I'd say from a business perspective and product is we just had to really lean into more comfort and casual in our assortment and what we were buying. And we honestly had no idea. I mean, if you all remember back, even a year ago, we had no sense of how long this would go on. And, little did we know we'd be sitting in our sweatpant hookups, into the fall. But definitely we had to pivot a lot. And I think, in general, and Micaela, I'm sure knows better than I, that is, I think just the casualization trend is here to stay. I don't think people are going to be wearing, sweatpants all day long every day. But, I think it's informed how people want to feel when they're getting dressed and when they go back to the office. So that's been a big pivot. And then I would say technology is probably the biggest pivot in terms of, how you're interacting with your team members, but also how you're engaging with your customers. And we've really had to fast track some of the services that may have been sort of on our dream roadmap, but make them happen faster because customers want convenience like we've never known before, and they want to be able to. Stores take on a whole new meaning. They're pickup shops now, right? People want to order at their home and go pick up, and everyone knows whoever thought you'd use a QR code on a menu. So all of these things now that we sort of were trying and dabbling in have become really present. It's really, I'd say, catapulted our business into the digital world, by 10 years, which is really, really exciting, honestly. And it's kind of a blank slate in a lot of ways, because 2020 is kind of you get to go again, I guess you would say, right? If you make it through, then you get to sort of clean slate a lot of things and start again. So it's been weirdly exciting in a lot of ways because there have just been a lot of new things that we've had to try.
That's what a year. I mean, sprinting to keep up, right? But yeah, that is really, really exciting. And then Micaela, I mean, with COVID and the celebrity styling world and the luxury bridal business, how did you pivot?
Well, it's been interesting, that's for sure. It seemed like almost overnight, the red carpet kind of evaporated. And as a freelance-based stylist, that was a very scary thing to witness. But I will say that being a creative and working in such a creative field, we are an incredibly resourceful group of artists, if you will. And again, this technology, thank goodness we have this, because funny enough, the idea of doing fittings over FaceTime or working with clients virtually was something that I had done over the years. I have clients all over the world in different time zones, in different countries, and I can't always be with them. And so having to work that way has been something I have had to do in the past. This year and in the last however many months it's been, I have had to rely on it more than ever. So that has been really unique and has had its own set of challenges for sure, but we have all found a way to make it work. And now too, as the red carpet and shoots and production is starting to resume, I think we have all discovered new ways of working. Some may be more efficient, some may be less efficient, but we're still able to get the job done. And I think just as a result, there's a lot of creativity that has been bred out of that. Simultaneously, with my brand new wedding business, that also sort of dried up because it was based around events, and with social distancing and restrictions for gatherings, that also was put on pause. However, now I am expecting to have an insane demand and this wedding boom coming my way, and this pent up demand for services and consulting unlike anything before. So what's really exciting now is that I thankfully have had the lead time to prepare for this, and I've had the time to get my ducks in a row, because we all knew that the world would reopen again and things would somewhat resume. But I think it's the timeline in which this is all happening that I've had to adjust with. But then lastly, to sort of echo what Libby was saying about the casualization of things. I mean, that applies to everything that I do, from styling celebrities for the red carpet or for Zoom or brides, or even for designing my QVC collection. The focus has really been on comfort and casualization, and this idea that you could still be stylish, but no one wants to sacrifice that element of athleisure or a more sort of relaxed attitude. So seeing that just across the board, which I think is something I am not surprised about.
That's actually thrilling, because we have grown accustomed to being comfortable, and I'm glad that designers and are really listening, and that sort of was building into my next question about emerging trends that have been born out of the pandemic. I mean, comfort, how are we, what is comfort going to look like once people can get back out?
Yeah, well, I think that people certainly are looking forward to getting dressed again, but I don't know how dressed up. And I think the one thing across the board with all of my clients, and I really work with three sort of very different categories, right? Red carpet, stars, clients who are really looking to evening wear, brides who are in the special occasion category, and then a mass consumer with QVC. And I would say that the wearability and the versatility of pieces is a constant conversation. And I think that sort of echoes a more sort of sustainable approach of getting dressed and making use of what you have in your wardrobe and buying fewer but buying better. And I have seen that across all of my businesses and categories. So that would be a major trend. And then one thing in particular on the sustainability note, and I'm really excited to hear what Libby has to say about this, but at least in the red carpet world, this idea that you have to be in a dress that you're going to wear one time and then it's kind of retired and out the door. And stars are really finally embracing, I think, thanks to their stylists and thanks to the conversation going on in the fashion world and the world in general, is that that's so taboo. Why can't you wear something more than once because you love it and you feel good in it? And I think in fashion, it really is starting to shift. I think more awareness about how things are made and where they come from is starting to be more of a common conversation and topic. And I hope that it's just the start. So that's a big thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would echo that. I think, I think I can talk about trends in a second, but I think 2020 was a year that was filled with a lot of important moments, even beyond the pandemic. And it's really fueled, I think, every person's sort of interest and desire in shopping and affiliating with brands that mean something beyond what they sell, and advocate for important things that go deeper than like greenwashing. And I think at Madewell has some really good roots with that, and it's because our community at Madewell, whether it's our customers or our team at our office or in our field, it's sort of what we believe in, and these are the things and the causes we go after. And I think what's been exciting for me as I take on this role at J.Crew, coming off of this really important year, is being able to help that community really build a more purpose-driven brand. I mean, that brand has been famous for sure, and it has a great legacy and a great heritage. But I think being able to sort of give it more relevance today in a way that sort of goes beyond, just being a great place to buy clothes is refreshing. And that's what I find sort of newly exciting, I think, about running businesses like these, that people really care. On a shallower note, from a emerging trend, I think for us, beyond the sweatpants and all of that, the biggest trend, I think, and if you're on, ladies, you need to, switch out the leg shape of your jeans is the biggest trend, I'd say, what's going on right now, and sort of moving. And we've been in this skinny jean cycle for, over 15 years now. This is the best news in the world for a denim brand, when you have, women flooding your denim bar in the stores and online, sort of begging to understand how to look more relevant. I can't wear my skinny jeans anymore. That's a very big trend in terms of sort of loosening things up, I think. And that was in the works, certainly prior to the pandemic, but has become much more of I think, a mass trend with everything going on. So that's a big trend, I'd say.
That trend couldn't come at a better time after the months of
well, we all need a little bit more room in our pants, right?
Could you imagine sliding into skinny pants these days after spending no.
So you're right, the timing is perfect.
Well, thank you, Libby, for pushing that trend for us. But yeah, I mean, it is just so interesting how thinking about what comfort will look like. And I agree, people do want to get dressed. I do have that desire. I hear people talk about that desire, but what that's going to look like, it's really great news that designers and brands are thinking about, us gals too, and what we're going to be comfortable in, and then also feel good in. A lot of us have been in sweats for a year. So Libby, we have a question here. What is the best advice you would give someone trying to obtain their career goals?
Okay. The best advice, there's a lot of good advice I've probably gotten along on the way. I think, I think the example that you need to make sure you pick, and you might not pick at first. You're likely going to not pick it right at first. Often you have to sort of try a few things, I would say, and that's okay. And I would say follow what you love, and make sure you really love doing it, because if you want to be successful, you're going to end up working a lot. And it's important that you're doing something that is energizing to you. And so the best case scenario is make your hobby your career, right? Or make what you love your career. And that can come in many shapes and sizes for sure, and can touch many different options. But I would say, I hear, and I have younger kids still, but I'm hearing, the process and the prep that goes into, and the internships and of getting into something now. It seems way more complicated. I often think I would have never made it if I had to go through all of these hoops. But I think it's also, it's good to take a deep breath and think about what you love, and allow yourself time to get there, and don't compare yourself along the way. So I guess that would be my advice. That would be my mom's advice as well. She'd say, just breathe, okay? And you'll figure it out.
That's good advice. Yeah. Micaela, how about you? What's your advice?
Well, I agree with everything Libby just said. And I have gotten a lot of good advice along the way. I think there's two things that stand out to me as being really good advice. The first is sometimes figuring out what you don't like is just as important, if not more, than figuring out what you do, because you're able to sort of narrow your path and weed out what doesn't work for you. And secondly, I would say, once you do find something that interests you, stick with it. It's going to be hard and it's going to take time, but you need to make yourself invaluable, whether that means showing up early or staying late or asking questions or just putting in that extra work, because there are so many people who are eager for that same opportunity. And I think standing out above the rest really makes an impact.
Yeah, that's great advice. And it's true. You mentioned, internships or anything you can do to get in there and see what something's like.
Yeah, totally. I mean, my Instagram, I get DMs from people and cold emails from people, and I try to respond to everybody. These days, I would say it does seem a little bit more competitive. It wasn't like a whole application process when I was in school. I just asked for an internship, and oftentimes people needed the extra help. So it was a little bit more go with the flow. These days, with all the rules and school credit and so forth, having a structured program tends to be the new norm. It's something certainly that my company offers, and I think also provides value to the student just as it does to the mentor, in being able to really establish some sort of format and list of goals in the curriculum. So,
yeah, great. Well, follow what you love and process of elimination. Really hard. I love all of that. Okay, Libby and Micaela, we would really love to hear about any projects that you're really excited about that you're working on now.
Okay, I'll start. I forgive the giant dog that's in the background. Who's very interested as well. You can stop your children from coming in, but you can't stop the animals, unfortunately. So I'm excited about a couple things. So starting with J.Crew. So I just got this new job last fall to oversee not only the Madewell brand, but the J.Crew brand as well. And I'm really excited with a lot of things we have cooking. We have a new designer in J.Crew in women's, and her collections are going to start hitting the stores soon. As I said, we're building a plan that's going to be much more purpose-driven, much more relevant, but still really rooted in the great history of J.Crew. But we've got, I just think, an incredible opportunity with an incredibly strong brand just to sort of move it forward, but again, honor its roots. So really excited about the opportunity with J.Crew. So stay tuned, I guess I should say. This year, there's just a lot of good stuff happening. And then on the Madewell front, in addition to all of our great non-skinny jeans, we are actually launching, I can't officially say it, but we are launching a really incredibly important project business that's launching later this summer that really is going to push our efforts towards sustainability and circularity even further. So I can't wait to share it with everyone. It's incredible, and stay tuned later this summer. So the teams are working on that as again, really something that we've been working towards for a long time. And I think it's going to give even new life, I would say, to old stuff when it comes to Madewell.
So exciting! So you said this summer, Libby? We should
late summer. Yeah.
Yay! And how about you, Micaela? Anything you're really excited about that you're working on?
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to the return of the red carpet, whatever form that might take. I am.
Me too.
I am excited for that. But I'm really excited for the wedding boom that's coming our way. I mean, the pent-up demand has been insane. And as a result of that side of my business, I have a number of collaborations rolling out over the next 6 months that I can't talk about quite yet, but you can follow me on Instagram to see more. And they're going to be really great. They are in the ready-to-wear and accessories space.
That is really exciting. Awesome. And when you just spoke of the wedding boom, which occurred to me, it must be
bananas.
Bananas.
I mean, every wedding that was postponed is now happening, plus all the new engagements, plus anyone that wants a sequel wedding. And it's going to extend at least into 2023. So it's going to be bananas.
I love the sequel or a vowel renewal ceremony. Could you squeeze one of those in?
I'm guilty of it. I'm also engaged. It's like I'm here for it too. So.
Well, you both are going to be really busy in the months to come. So we have some questions that have been submitted in advance from, let's say, the audience who are planning on coming here. And so they wanted to get in some questions to make sure that you guys could answer them. So I'll start with those, and then hoping we have time to also get in some of the chat questions, because one just popped up right now for Micaela. What is the role of social media in relation to success these days in your business? And can you tell us about that?
Well, I think social media has become such an incredible tool. For me as a stylist, a huge part of my job is research. And when I started in this line of work, Instagram didn't exist. It wasn't part of the world of fashion, and it wasn't a resource to me. So being able to discover, and that act of discovery is something that has been invaluable. People being able to find me, and me being able to discover new brands, and also to be able to connect with my audience, with potential clients, with brands and customers, and so much more. And I think also as a result of the whole influencer nature that has emerged on social media too, that sort of side of my business being looked at as an expert and an authority in this space, and also being able to monetize my social media platform. That is a whole conversation for another panel on another day, because I could talk about that for hours too. But I mean, it has really taken on an important role. I now have had to hire a full-time person to help me run and manage my social media accounts, and that was not something I ever thought I would have to do. So I think the digital world is evolving and is increasingly more important for all the reasons.
Yes. And then, so as Micaela's brand is Micaela, Libby, your brands, I mean, you are in charge of a lot over there. How important is social media with a larger brand? You had talked about consumers and shoppers maybe seeking a more holistic relationship with brands. How important is social media with these big guys, J.Crew, Madewell?
Yeah, it's crucial. I mean, it's all about building community through social media and connecting and listening. And that's been, I mean, especially this past year, it's been, our lifeline to what's going on. And we've used many different formats of Instagram to talk to our teams and our customers. We do concerts, we do cooking, all sorts of ways to engage people. And so the platforms, especially Instagram, has been incredibly important. And I would say, I would echo, it's an incredible source of inspiration in many ways for all of us in the creative field. And any of us with a hobby, it's obviously super important. And these days, it's important to know, and it's helpful to understand like who your brands are affiliated with, and it's a great opportunity to sort of round out, the total experience, and not just talk about your products, and really give. At Madewell, we use our Instagram as a platform to give smaller businesses, a platform to talk about what they're doing. We have a program, an incredible program that actually started in the stores called Hometown Heroes. And it really was about when our stores open up, we didn't want to be like a big chain store. And so, we engage with local artisans and artists and creators, and they come in and they pop up at our stores. And this has now become, Instagram and our site have become a way to, give a broader platform to smaller businesses. And that's been awesome. And so there's so many ways we use it. And then at a brand like J.Crew, when you think about how you used to be inspired by J.Crew with the dog-eared catalog, or the catalog you got to your dorm room or however you saw it, really that needs to be the relevant example of that really is Instagram, the social media. And it's a way to really show up with inspiration and styling ideas and that kind of thing. So it's incredibly important for our brands.
So our viewers want to know, what Instagram accounts should they be following for you guys? Can you tell everybody what account you'd like for them to follow?
Oh, well, mine are going to be like cooking. They're going to be like New York Times cooking and Smitten Kitchen.
No, they mean your personal or your brand's. Your brand. So should they J.Crew, Madewell, and any of your craft or cooking? That's
I mean, I think
we'd like that too.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, at Madewell and at J.Crew and at J.Crew Men's and Crew Cuts for those parents on. We just actually relaunched our Crew Cuts Instagram, and it's going to be a great resource for parents with great, cool ideas, even outside of product. So I guess those would be the go-tos for sure. Beyond my cooking.
Well, I cooked the first thing I'd ever cooked from the New York Times cooking Instagram. It was delicious. So
yes, it's the best resource. It's great.
The best. Micaela, what's your Instagram?
My Instagram is just at Micaela, my first name, and my QVC collection is Stylist, 2 words, by Micaela.
Love it. So your Instagram handle is at Micaela?
I got the solo name.
Wow.
It just shows how long ago I was on Instagram.
I know. The other day
it was a thing.
The other day I was talking to someone whose cell phone was a 212 and I couldn't believe it. So that is the equivalent. You're at Micaela. Okay, guys, how about style icons? Micaela, who are some of your style icons?
Well, for me, it's always in context to what it is I'm working on. I look to history and to film constantly for inspiration. I mean, some of the greats, Jackie, Princess Diana, Elizabeth Taylor in the heyday, Audrey Hepburn. I mean, so many. Those are some of my favorites, probably as they apply to red carpet. But again, it depends. It depends on what the project is that I'm working on.
Yeah. How about you, Libby? Who are some of your style icons?
Gosh, I would say, I will tell you an Instagram that I love that I found recently. It's called Parisians in Paris. And it's all, my style icons are anyone who is French. And I just think, frankly, it's just the simplicity of great French style. And that Instagram, every day, they just post street style of amazing Parisians. And that these days is sort of where I go to for sort of like that's a good look. And especially when, the French are so good at dressing from their closet and really making the most of what they have. And that's so inspirational because it is important to buy great quality and keep great quality. And so it's been a go-to for me, kind of a guilty pleasure, I would say.
And can you repeat, what is it? Parisians on
Twitter? It's called Parisians in Paris, at Parisians in Paris.
Love it. Yes, it's exactly what you guys were talking about. The trend that Micaela was saying, the trend of buying less, but higher quality, which is, the French way, right? They might have one pair of shoes, but it's a well-made pair of shoes that will last them for a really long time. Oh, guys, we have questions coming in. Here we've got one for Libby. A viewer says that I love that J.Crew has a commitment to philanthropy and would love it if you would discuss.
Oh, sure. I mean, I would love to discuss all session long, but what I would say is the group, has a commitment to purpose, and it, I've spoken a little bit about Madewell, which is very much in sustainability. And circularity of product and community and bringing the community, lifting up your community. I think we are in the process at J.Crew. We actually just released sort of our initial thoughts on goals in the vein of sustainability, which was new for J.Crew. They hadn't done that. And we are actually in the process of building, our purpose-driven goals at J.Crew, which is, it was important for me. I'm about 4 or 5 months into the role. It was important for me not to come in and just sort of dictate what I thought we should believe in. And so we're doing a lot of work around talking to our customers. We have this incredible group, we call it a group chat of great customers out there, and we're polling them, and we're polling our associate community out in the field. And just to understand a little bit more about what's important for us to stand for. I think education, actually, with J.Crew, we have some roots in doing a lot with education, and I think that's really, early reads have been a pretty popular purpose for us. So we're probably going to dig into that a little bit more. But so I'd say more to come. You're going to start to see via our social media accounts, and our marketing. We're going to start to talk more in a way that makes sense for the brand, in a way that engages you beyond the product. And so I would say if you follow along with J.Crew, you'll start to see that evolution. We're pretty excited about the things we're working on, and the community. Everyone wants to work for brands that are aligned with their values and believe in something. And so it's super inspiring process to go through.
It's really exciting to hear both of you talk about what's next. There seems to be such a great energy, coming out of what we've all been coming from. I hear a lot of excitement and hope, and I can't wait to see what you guys are up to in the coming months. Micaela, we've got a comment/question from a viewer for you. So, Micaela, I was just reading how Kate Middleton's wedding dress inspired dozens of others, including Kim Kardashian's. What other big fashion moments have single-handedly sparked a whole trend?
Oh, wow, that's a big question.
Yes.
I think Kate Middleton's dress was actually inspired by Grace Kelly's. So I think that fashion, I think that truly shows that people look to history much further than you might realize to be inspired. And designers look to these references too. So yes, Kate's dress definitely on a global scale influenced bridal trends for sure. Speaking of weddings, Chiara Ferragni, the influencer's wedding dress sparked trends for both evening wear and weddings in a major way. I think she had more impressions on her wedding than the royal wedding, which is just insane. She wore custom Dior. And then I think, speaking of Parisians, actually, stripes. Audrey Hepburn, I think, made stripes famous. And
look at you two. I know.
And you have a striped background.
There we go.
Well, anyway, clearly we've all been influenced, maybe by Audrey, maybe by somebody else. But I feel like Audrey sort of signified that classic bateau neck, straight black cigarette leg, classic look paired with ballet flats that is just tried and true. And I don't know if anyone came before her with that particular sort of style, but I feel like that was almost her signature. And gosh, there've got to be others, but those are ones that come to mind.
Yeah. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got another question in the chat for you guys about mentors. Have you both had mentors that you'd like to talk about?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've had a few. I've been lucky to have a few people I've worked with and actually haven't worked with, just have been around. I think a big mentor for me, some people on the call might know, was my old boss. His name is Mickey Drexler, and he's a New Yorker, and had was the CEO of J.Crew, the CEO of the Gap, made Gap, an icon. And just he's been a major influence in my life and in my sort of style. And so I'd say, he's been a pretty important mentor for me and career-wise. And I would just say it's important that you find someone to go to. And I think that's crucial to have those kind of connections, for sure. And I don't know if he would be surprised that I would say, he was my boss for so long. So sometimes it's not, your boss and your mentor aren't the same, but for me, for sure, he was really one and the same for me for a very long time. So.
How about you, Micaela?
Definitely. I've had mentors over the years too, but one in particular was a very powerful mentor in my career trajectory. Her name was Annabelle Tolman, and she was the East Coast equivalent of Rachel Zoe back in the day. And upon graduation, I went on to intern for her. That's where I sort of discovered this line of work. And I interned with her for a year before she ultimately hired me, and I went on to work with her for 6. So she really trained me and took me under her wing, and I learned the ropes under her guidance, and also totally idolized her. But she was a very important figure in my career trajectory and someone who I'm very grateful to.
That's wonderful to find people who are so generous in that way. It's always shocking. Sometimes we think about these powerful, very successful people that we might meet along the way, and to see how generous and how much they can care about your trajectory and your career. It's so wonderful, to hear that and to know that there are people out there who are happiest when you're successful and only want you to succeed. And when we succeed, they look good too. So it works.
Totally.
It works for everybody. Okay, so now we have a few more style questions. So what are some specific types of clothing and colors that we should all be wearing this summer?
Oh, Micaela, you take this.
Very specific.
Yes.
Wear the colors that look good on you. Wear the colors you like.
There you go. I think this summer it's all gonna be about dressing to feel joy again, and whatever color that may look like for you is the color you should go with. But I definitely think that we are seeing, bright, happy colors and prints make a return. I think that this summer it's going to be a continuation of that sort of casual, easy, relaxed look, whether that's separates or jumpsuits, but no fuss, that sort of built-in style and just foolproof go-to classics that you can count on. So I think that's probably what we'll see a lot of. I think people are also going to be excited to shop again. I mean, I personally feel the pent-up desire to go out and refresh my wardrobe and refresh those basics. So I think we'll see that too.
You won't believe this next question. We have a he says, she says from Gateway teacher John Banta. Good one. All right. The girlfriends tell me guys should avoid sandals at all costs. I live in tank tops, basketball shorts, and chic Crocs all summer. I think I look good and 100% relaxed. Who's right?
I was gonna say a Birkenstock with like a jean is fine, or but when the combo of the basketball shorts and the Crocs and attaching chic to Crocs, I would definitely debate.
Or
But
even
Crocs are definitely trending. I don't know. I mean, I'd say wear what you're comfortable in, but you should also, listen to the girls. They might know a thing or two.
listen to the girls for sure. Maybe swap your basketball shorts for a chino short and your tank top for a t-shirt and the Crocs for the Birks or a cool sneaker.
Yeah.
You'll still be comfortable, but you'll look fire.
I love that. I was just thinking of paper dolls. It sounds great, but get rid of all of it. Swap this for that. That was a fabulous question, Mr. Banta. I love it. I think you've got some guidance on this from two industry pros. Okay, so I think I can't tell if this is our last. We have one more, and then the very last question. So, what do you think of TikTok and fashion trends emerging from Gen Z?
I mean, my mind is blown. I'm still trying to keep up with Instagram as it is, let alone another app. I think it's really important, and I'm definitely educating myself about it. I think, again, these are future customers too. So being aware of what those trends are and what that customer is looking for, is huge. I think there's also sort of this like renaissance on 90s style that I'm seeing emerge from Gen Z, and it's bringing me back to my own childhood. So I'm here for it.
Libby, does J.Crew and Madewell have TikTok? Are they on TikTok?
Well, not really J.Crew, and Madewell has just started. Madewell is going there. We did our first sort of campaign, and it was really fun. I mean, I'd say TikTok and YouTube, just the ability to really be creative is incredible. Because video is just really fun, and it's really individual how things end up when you have creators from TikTok and YouTube help you support your brand. So I mean, we're just on the verge, not really yet with J.Crew, but Micaela is right. There is definitely kind of a vintage heritage brand thing happening, which is good for those of us who were around in the 90s.
Okay, ladies, this is our last question. So this talk is to support the Gateway School. So do you have any parting words of wisdom for our students?
I would say, similar to the very beginning, I would say sort of do what you love and follow your interests. And I think Micaela's advice was great. I'm going to steal it. Is try things, and if you don't like them, you'll sort of know. But I think sort of do what you love and follow your heart and talk to lots of people. And I would say one of the most important traits for anyone is to be a student for life. And that's something I learned from my mentor, but endless curiosity. No matter how accomplished you are in your role, it is way more fun to always be learning something new than to think you're the expert at everything. And oftentimes my kids think they're the expert at everything. And I would just say there's just allow yourself the time and the room to learn. Curiosity is really sort of the key to success, I'd say.
I definitely second that. I think you are also fortunate to be at such an incredible school and learning institution. I valued the support I got in my education as well. I was at different school, but had similar support and resources that Gateway offered, and it made a world of a difference in my own sort of career trajectory. But again, I think all of the topics that we've touched on thus far in regards to not being afraid to try new things, not being afraid to ask questions, discovery, learning, openness and willingness to do those things is so important. And again, see what it is that interests you, and don't be afraid to weed out your options. So
you women are incredible. This Gateway community is truly, truly something. And it has been such a delight to get to listen to you guys. The viewers, we're seeing so many great comments here. And thank you for being so open tonight. And before we sign off, the viewers are also asking if you would tell them your social media accounts again before you get off so that they can follow you. And yay, Gateway. The speaker series is all week long. There are so many fabulous speakers and talks. So thank you all for being here with us tonight. And Libby, where should they follow?
Well, you should follow at Madewell and at J.Crew, and please follow along, especially at J.Crew over the course of this year, to sort of watch the evolution. Stay tuned. Do not follow me personally, because I am not interesting, and I don't think I'm public. So follow J.Crew and follow Madewell.
Yes, we've learned tonight that Libby is not at all interesting. Not one bit. Okay, Micaela, where should people follow you?
You can follow me at Micaela, just my first name. And you can also follow my collection at Stylist. It's a play on words. Stylist by Micaela.
Fabulous. Well, thank you. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Gateway. Thank you, Chassie.
It was a wonderful evening, and we'll talk soon.
Great. Thank you.